St Johnstone this weekend, and you go into the game obviously on the back of your progression in the Cup last weekend and on the back of an undefeated run against 3 Premiership opposition. So you must go into this game full of confidence.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a really good feeling within the group, obviously, that we've more than held our own against 3 difficult Premiership teams. Sunday's result against St Mirren was a really important one for us, and the fact that we could play against I would say an established top 6 team in the last couple of seasons, against a really physical team. We stood up to the challenge of everything that they had to throw at us, and we showed really good resilience throughout the course of 90 minutes to get the result. And I think the clean sheet was probably the most pleasing aspect of it, because we feel in the previous couple of games against County and Dundee, we felt that we kind of shot ourselves in the foot in terms of the goals that we conceded. So clean sheets are going to be crucial throughout the course of the campaign. We always believe we've got enough quality at the top end of the pitch that we fancy ourselves to score, but we can't afford to be having to score 2 and 3 goals a game in order to get 3 points in the league. So we're hoping for a similar performance defensively at the weekend, and obviously just keep creating the kind of chances that we have been up to now. And probably the only disappointment from last Sunday's game was that we didn't score not a couple of goals. We hit the crossbar on a couple of occasions and had 1 or 2 other half chances as well.
How important is it then now to go on and get that first victory in the league to help you progress onwards and upwards?
Yeah, absolutely. We've obviously only managed a couple of draws in the league, albeit we believe we could have and probably should have won both games, having led from the front for long periods. But Saturday's going to be a difficult game. St Johnstone have had a great result against Kilmarnock, obviously winning 3-0 on the road against a notoriously difficult, well-organised Derek McInnes team. So we know the threats that St Johnstone are going to bring. They've got some very good technical players in their team. The front 2 are a real handful. They can cause you lots of different problems, good energy levels, good speed to run in behind. So we're going to have our wits about us at the back, that's for sure. But we do feel if we can reach the levels that we reached in the St Mirren game, move the ball nice and quickly, get our forward players on the ball early, then we feel that we can cause St Johnstone a number of problems ourselves. But a team managed by a manager that I've got huge respect for in Craig Levine, and I know how well organised Craig's teams have been over the years. So it's going to be a tough test for us, there's no doubt about that. But it would be, could we possibly come out on top and win the game, then I think it would be a really, really good positive start from us.
And Kevin Holt obviously shone in centre midfield last weekend. Has that given you a bit of a headache in terms of selection for this weekend?
It certainly has, yeah. And I'm pleased to say, given the fitness of the group, obviously we've got the long-term injury to Ryan Strain, but everybody else is fit and available. And when we have a fully fit squad, it's a very strong competitive squad. And Kevin was outstanding against St Mirren. Really done exactly what was needed of him in that type of game, and has certainly given me 1 or 2 things to consider for the weekend, because we've got great options in that midfield area, albeit Docherty's not quite up to speed. Richard O'Dada still a little bit behind the rest of the group, so we are working on the fitness levels of certain members of the group. But we've got a good strong 22-23 man squad right now, and it's what you want as a manager.
And have you got any other injury concerns going into the game?
No, I mean, everybody else should be fine. Obviously, Vichko Sevelj missed the game last weekend through suspension. He has had a tight hamstring throughout the course of this week, but it's nothing for anybody to concern themselves about. We could possibly push him for this weekend, but if we don't, then he'll be 100% for the game against Hearts next Sunday.
And we're just edging towards the transfer window closing. Is there any update on any front? I know you were looking at attacking options. Is that still the case, and are you any further forward? Yeah,
well, like I said to you last week, we've only really got 2 senior strikers in the building at the moment, with Jort van der Sande and Louis Moult. Owen Sturton is a player that we've got real high hopes for, and he's scored a couple of goals again midweek with the under-18s. But we feel for Owen's development, you know, it's important that he keeps playing these 18s games. There might be the possibility that he goes out on loan and plays some senior football regularly, but that does leave us a little bit light at the top end of the pitch. So yes, it is an area that we're still looking to strengthen. Everywhere else, I'm very, very pleased with what we've done up to now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Having obviously talked about Kevin Holton, his performance in midfield, does that give you, perhaps another string in the bow of, seeing how well he performed there, and in terms of in-game being able to make that change if you need to push him further forward and change shape?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, Kevin's played in midfield, a good number of years ago, but obviously in the main I've seen Kevin playing as a centre-half or sometimes as left-back for Partick. But, I don't think he gets the credit sometimes that he deserves in terms of a technical aspect. We know how good he is defensively, aerially very strong. He's got good mobility, very strong in 1v1s. But, I don't think he wasted a pass last Sunday against St Mirren. He just kept things nice and simple. He broke play up, won his headers, and as I said, carried out the instructions to a T. So yeah, I mean, it's great to have players that can play that almost utility role within the squad, and I think we've got a number of players that can do that. We don't carry 30 players, so we have to, when we're doing the recruitment, we have to be conscious of the fact that we need to sign players who can play in 2 or 3 different positions if injuries happen and suspensions happen, and we've got a number of players like that. Vichko Sevelj is another one that can play centre back, right wing back, or in the middle of the park, and so I think it strengthens the group as a whole, and it gives us great options and good alternatives within games as well.
And obviously, unbeaten so far in the 3 games against Premiership opposition. And just, how would you assess that start?
I think we've made great progress. Anybody that would have been at the Falkirk game in that first League Cup game, I think can see for themselves the progress that the team has made in a short period of time. And I think that's credit to the group, for them being able to get the fitness levels where they need to be, but also for them to take on the information that we've been asking of them in terms of in and out of possession, and I think we're still, not where we want to be. That's probably a pleasing point to make in terms of we feel that there's more to come from the group, and the fact that we've played against 3 really difficult opponents, 2 top 6 teams from last season. Obviously, an away trip at Ross County is never easy, and the fact that we've came through those 3 games with a win and 2 draws, I think is positive, and it bodes well for the future. But we have to focus on Saturday now against another difficult opposition who have recruited really well. They've got a good blend of youth and experience within their team, and had a terrific result, in their last away fixture against Kilmarnock. So we certainly won't be taking St Johnstone lightly.
You'll be pleased with the depth and strength and versatility of the squad that you have, but does that pose another problem? Because players being players, they want minutes and game time, and now you have this depth of squad. Does that give you further things to deal with?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's no different to any other manager out there. It's the hardest part of our job is, picking an 11, because you know how disappointed the other half of the squad are going to be, and sometimes the players who aren't in the team are actually more important than the ones who are, because those guys really can set the tone in terms of the atmosphere around the place. If they're unsettled and they're unhappy, but I have lots and lots of conversations with the players who aren't playing on a regular basis, just to make sure that they understand how important to me and to the team that they are, and just to try and make sure they don't get frustrated, and they understand what a key role they're going to play throughout the season. It's a very long and arduous campaign. Injuries and suspensions are going to happen, and it's really important that the guys who aren't in the team keep their head down, work hard in training, make sure that they're fit and they're sharp, and when they get the opportunity that they go and grasp it.
You mentioned about St Johnstone's recruitment and where the concerns might be with that. With just being the 3rd game of the season, have you had a good enough opportunity to see what these new players are bringing into St Johnstone?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a few familiar faces there. Obviously Graham Carey's an ex-teammate of mine from St Mirren. Cammy McPherson, when I was manager, was there. Obviously Sam McClelland, who we're all bitterly disappointed for when we saw him getting stretchered off against Aberdeen, and I'm pretty sure I speak on behalf of everybody at United that we wish him a speedy recovery, because he played a real significant role in helping us get promotion last season. But they've got players that we are familiar with, and obviously the new signings that Craig has brought in have certainly added a bit of quality and a bit of freshness and a bit of energy to the team. So we always do our homework, and we do our analysis on the opposition, and then we focus on ourselves, and I think that's the most important thing. We have to respect everybody that we play, and we have to highlight the dangers that they might cause, but then we always look to try and identify some weaknesses and where we can cause them problems, and we believe that there are certain areas that we can target that hopefully will lead to some success for us on Saturday.
Will there be a very different approach to the game this week than there was with last week, because they were a very physical team last week?
Not really. I mean, defensively, obviously, we're working hard on the shape of the team and making sure that we're organised and everybody understanding the roles without the ball, but it wasn't anything great in terms of the tactics of last week. It was more to do with the desire and the determination and the resilience that the players on the park showed at key moments. Putting their bodies on the line, making tackles, being aggressive, doing the basics. It doesn't matter what level of football that you're playing at. Defensively, you've got to make good decisions at key moments and just do the basics of defending well. And then obviously, when you get possession of the ball, then you've got to go and play. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to be a well-organised team without the ball, but we want to be, a good possession-based, entertaining team when we have it. And I think we've seen glimpses of both in the last few fixtures. And hopefully we get that bit of consistency, and we just continue to build on the positives of last weekend and just continue to try and improve week after week.